Pat Dennis is well known in corporate and performance circles as a premier professional comedian. She's also an accomplished writer, no surprise there. And she has this press called
Penury Press.
Penury Press.
Or Penury Press, if you're correct.
I see. So, what is it about all of this why did you go from writing and performing, and I've seen you perform, and you're a very funny lady.
Thank you.
To writing macabre murder mysteries?
You know, well, you write about what you know, and I guess I'm a little twisted, I hear. That's how I see the world. I always think I write these very serious literary works and that will tear people's souls out, and I meet my people that read them, and they say, I've never laughed so hard in my life. So, you know, I don't mean to write funny stuff. I mean to be serious.
It just leaks out that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you like being a mystery author?
I enjoy it very much. I love it. Actually, I was a writer before I was a comedian. When I was 17, I had my first publication in the Hartford Courant Journal,
really?
A poem, you know. And
was it a funny poem?
It was not a funny poem, and I almost sold my first story to Woman's Day at 18.
Oh my
I actually
gosh.
got a letter saying, we love this, it's a little too short. At 18, and I'm still in the same place. We're almost selling, almost publishing, and you know, it's like 40 years later. I've never grown, but I've had a good life, so. And so writing is my real love. I mean, it is. And I perform because I can make money at it. I get fired from most jobs, which you probably would understand. So it's easier for me to do comedy because I'm there for one night and people would think they would like to work with me, but they're not really. So I do a show and I leave and
leave town.
Kind of what I did on my regular jobs, which is why I didn't last long.
We have done 2 anthologies, the Minnesota Crime Wave has, and your story in the second anthology that we did was my absolute. It's called, the second anthology is called Resort to Murder.
And your story is called?
Which one was that? It was
the casino one.
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
That is my favorite story in that book. I think that story is brilliant.
Oh,
Do you know, that
you.
story strikes such a nice balance between being funny in a really dark way
and weird
and poignant.
And poignant, yeah. This poor guy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I see life as being very beautiful and very, very sad and very pathetic and very
awful
funny.
Mother. I mean, you paint the mother just.
She was awful.
Yes.
She's so. Have you been to a casino? She's so real. I mean, she is, you know. And he's so real. I love the fact that he wants to kill her, but yet he wants her approval. You know, I mean, that's just how sons are, I think.
How did you come up with the idea for Who Died in Here?
Oh, Who Died in Here? Actually, there was Lancerimba.
Oh.
Tell the audience what the conceit is.
Who Died in Here is a collection of 25 mystery short stories by 25 writers, and it's just a wonderful book where all the crimes take place in a bathroom. And I was at a mystery conference, Mayhem in the Midlands, and I told Lance that Sharon Darby Henry, who's a fine writer, loved Hot Dish to Die For, another one of my books. She said she keeps it in the bathroom because she loves to have guests. And she walks by and she hears people laughing. Yeah. And I said,
in the bathroom.
I said, that explains my books in the bathroom. And he said, well, you should put that in a series. You should do an anthology in the bathroom, and click, click, click. Oh, I said to him, that explains Who Died in Here, maybe. And suddenly, wow, what a good idea. And it's been a fun book. And it was fun to work with 25 authors from around the world. And I have wonderful people like Tom Bray, who wrote Designing Women, Evening Shade, because they all wanted to say they were in this book, because they all wanted to say this is what writing is like, because I paid them $25 in an air freshener.
Yes, yes.
And that's being in, you know, that's writing for so long.
Man.
Now, Ellen just mentioned a book that I perennially give as a Christmas gift to people, Hot Dish to Die For. And I love to send it to people in another part of the country because it's so Midwestern and it's so funny. I just love that book. Talk about where the idea for Hot Dish to Die For came from.
Well, my friend Susan Voss is a wonderful comedian and a writer, and I would watch her sell books after a show. She sold a gazillion books, and her book, on laughter. And I thought, I should do that. I could use some money after my shows. So I just literally sat down and said, I want to write a Minnesota book that would sell in Minnesota. And I realized hot dish is such a big deal here, and I think it's absolutely absurd. So I'd be perfect to write about it. And, you know, basically it's what? A can of cream and mushroom soup, can of vegetables,
tuna,
white rice. I got it on sale meat.
Right.
Yeah, you know, and you bake
Tater
it.
tots.
Mystery
Tater
meat,
tots.
tater tots and
you bake it
cheese.
until it's totally dry, and you give it to your friends.
Right.
I said, well, you got to write a book about that. And so I did. That's what was my inspiration was Susan. I wrote my book. I had my first show and I sold 1. And I printed 3,000. Then I had my second show and I sold none. But fortunately, it caught on in the bookstores. And so it's been a great ride.
That has a picture of you and Mary Monica Pulver with a casket, isn't it?
Actually, it's Marjorie Douglas, who won the Minnesota Book Award, and it's me on. No, that's Mary's book, I think. Mary Monica's book.
Oh, that's Mary Monica's book. That's a different
this
book.
is a different cover.
Sorry about
3
that.
other dead ladies from Medina, which I thought was appropriate. So
That'd make a great title for a book. 3 other dead ladies from Medina.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to always looking for titles.
You've also recently turned your attention to a younger audience.
Scary, isn't
I was
it?
fortunate enough to read a section of a book I absolutely love, and I'm sure is going to find a place.
Thank you. I'm rewriting it, and I love the book. It's a middle school book.
And it's called?
The Witches of Dorkdom, and it's a fun
Isn't
book.
that great?
Yeah, and it's my image of the little world, which is kind of scary, but
The Little World?
the little world, the people, you know, these children,
Younger people.
younger, what
Okay.
I think they're called that. You know, obviously, I'm not. You know, so it's
Middle
fun
grades,
for me.
right,
Middle
yeah,
grade,
right.
yeah, and it was fun for me to change. I also write literary works too, so it's kind of like I bounce back and forth. You know. But I like making people laugh. It's what I do. It's the thing I feel like I can bring to the party. That can also get very wearing, but I'm very cautious in my writing. I don't want it to be, I love Eudora Welty. I'm very serious about, so my influences are Eudora Welty, Sherwood Anderson, Mad Magazine.
Oh my gosh.
So this combination of those 3 would be.
Sherwood Anderson's one of my big faves.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I love short stories. I love them.
Someone asked me once if I belonged to any organizations, and I belonged to the ACLU and the Doctor Who Fan Club of America. You know, and it's the disparate parts of your personality. You know.
Oh, I have all these kind of like, the things I want to do in life, and that's why my characters a lot are based on me. One of the things I notice about my characters is based on my life. They all have these big plans, and they never come true. But they're sure that this time it's going to work out.
That's so noir.
So what are you working
Actually,
on?
that is noir.
It
Yeah,
is,
you're
isn't it?
right.
What are you working on now in terms of your literary career?
Well, I just finished a short story for the Once Upon a Crime anthology, which is a tribute to Gary Schultz, owner of Once Upon a Crime. And I love it. I take on hockey moms. The short story is called Puck. And I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite short stories, and that was fun for me. So I talk about not my neighbors, but I talk about
Yeah, me, I'll be
these
careful
hockey
about that.
moms who sell candy at the door.
Okay.
So,
All right.